Welcome back to the channel, guys. Tommy here with Sinister Productions, bringing you guys another vlog. So I've done the review on the Mustang GT. I just realized I hadn't really reviewed the Skyline yet. So being at home, day 4, day 3, damn, I'm already losing track of the days. Day 3, wait a minute, is today Thursday or Friday? Or Wednesday or Thursday? Today is, I don't know because my phone's retarded. Wednesday, so day 3 of being furloughed. Got a lot accomplished, did some yard work, things like that. Finally cleaned up my man cave a little bit. Some of you guys have seen it, some of you guys have not. Just some of the cars that I've actually had. My 2018 Mustang GT, my 2016 Mustang GT. A lot of you all already know the Shelby GT350, and none of you probably know, this is an older car of mine, my 1994 Mustang Cobra that I had. So, I'm probably going to go ahead, got my man cave cleaned up a little bit. Bearded Dragons. Yeah, just got my man cave cleaned up, sorted out, stuff like that. So, got all that done, and now, let's see, got all my workstation, computer, all that good stuff sorted, cleaned up, and everything dusted. So now I feel like I can go ahead and do a review on my 92 Skyline GTST. I'm going to go for a little ride. I'll walk around the car a little bit, kind of go over what I've done to the car, kind of go over what plans I have for the car, and talk about pros and cons of the car. So go ahead and head downstairs. What you doing, buddy? Alright, so I've already been out here. Got the key. Yeah, that's right. It says GTR, even though it's not a GTR. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. But I really like the key that the GTR has. I guess it's like all metal or stainless. Really cool key. So I did have one made for it. Anyway. Alright, so a lot of you guys that have been following my videos kind of know what's going on. We're going to do a quick catch up. We're not going to go into full detail. So basically, first thing I did to the car was the Apexi cold air filter. I did the top secret, the clear timing cover for it, just because I do want to keep an eye on the timing belt. I do have timing belt stuff that I got for the car, courtesy of Terra Firma. So I got my factory timing belt. I did all factory parts. So I've got the factory timing belt, factory Nissan water pump. That's the tensioner, one of the tensioner springs. This is a factory Nissan timing belt tensioner and factory Nissan idler pulley. So I've got everything here to do the water pump and timing belt on the car, because I don't believe that's ever been done, because the car had 26,000 miles on it when I first got it, and judging by, I don't think you guys can really see it, judging by the timing belt, you know, you see the regular like wear marks on it, but there's no cracking or anything like that. But I do want to go ahead and change that out, freshen it up a little bit, make sure I got a new water pump and everything. I probably do want to do a thermostat while I'm in there, just for this, you know, to be on the safe side. So I'll probably pick up one of those. And also I noticed, again, the car was garage kept, so had no leaks on it when I first got it, except for the transmission leak, which has come back, so I still got to figure that out. I think it's that little O-ring leaking again. So I don't know if something else is going on in there or what, so I will take care of that. But now that the car has actually been driving more, the back of the valve cover gasket's starting to leak. So when I go to do the timing belt water pump, I'll pull the valve cover off. The valve cover is off, the coil's out, and I'll go ahead and put new valve cover gaskets on there, clean up the covers some, and all that good stuff, and do some cleaning and detailing while I'm in there. So other than that, that's right, you guys already know, You see the Fortune Auto coilovers. I had ordered those probably like 3 or 4 days after I bought the car because I wanted to set this thing on a good set of suspension and good set of coilovers for the car. Fortune Auto is local to me. They're about 15 minutes away or 10 minutes away. So I ordered those through my boy over at Fortune Auto, Devin. Go see him if you guys have any questions, concerns. If you guys want to put in an order, go talk to him, ask for Devin. He'll be sure to hook you up and get you your order placed and everything for it. Good guys over there. Super stoked that they're actually local to me because, you know, like I said, sourcing parts of these cars is kind of a pain. Coilovers is one of the first things I wanted to do to this car just because the stock ride height was a little high, monster truck status. So I went ahead and did that. When I got the car, I had a blown headlight. These have got the projector lights in them, but they've got the weird ones in it to where the clip for the headlight bulb is actually made into the headlight itself, or the housing for the H1 headlights. So I don't, some of you guys that have Skylines and GTRs understand what I'm saying by that. Some of these do not. So unfortunately this came because I did order LED bulbs for the car, which I think I have somewhere. Oh yeah, I did order the aux beam LED headlight bulbs, but can't use them because of the stupid clips that actually hold it into the headlight. So I may end up getting a set of N1 headlights for it later, or at least the projector headlights that have the regular style clips in the back. So other than that, I've done the HKS full exhaust. This is the HKS high power exhaust. Pretty quiet. I did add the test pipe, which I got off of eBay. It's just the eBay test pipe because I did want to see if there was a whole lot of difference there. There's not a whole lot of difference, unfortunately, but I still plan on doing a down pipe to this car and modifying it, so we'll find out, and might end up taking out the mid muffler. I just don't want to make it too ricey and too obnoxious, but I do want to get some good sound out of it. So I will probably try the down pipe first and see if that helps any. I'll probably go with like an ISR. That way it's got the bell housing that actually comes off the turbo is quite a bit bigger and less restrictive than the factory one. So hopefully that'll help allow a little bit more sound through, especially with all the glorious turbo noises. Factory catalytic inverters there, but anyway, I haven't really done a whole lot. I had my boy Lance tint the windows, 20% tint all the way around. Did an amazing job, absolutely amazing job on it. Oh yeah, and I did also do the stereo, which I did went all Kenwood, touchscreen, Bluetooth, and I think it's got Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, all that stuff on it. I replaced the speakers with Kenwood speakers because they were all shot, and then I did the Defi gauges, the oil pressure and boost gauge, just so I can keep an eye on the oil pressure of the car. Other than that, I haven't done a whole lot. Like I said, we bought this car from Japanese Classics. They're very easy to deal with. This car was actually sitting off in the back of, I went to go look at another car, another Skyline GTS 4. It was a gunmetal gray, had all the GTR bits, had the GTR front bumper, the side skirts, the rear bumper, the hood, the grille. It looked really good. It was already lowered on a set of lowering springs, things like that. I think it had some like cheapy lowering springs on it. It had aftermarket exhaust already, but the body really wasn't in that good a shape. It had little dings all over the place and unverified miles, so we had no idea how many miles was on the car. It wasn't automatic, had leather interior in it. You know, it had some minor things here and there that I was kind of hesitant about. We test drove the car. You know, I felt some weird, you know, bumps and stuff in the back and some noises in the back when I drove it. So I ended up seeing this car in the back of their garage, and it did not have, it hadn't even been posted yet online. They had just got it off the truck, off the boat rather. So completely stock, had 26,000 miles on the car when I bought it, or when they got it in. Car was in pristine condition, unmolested, untouched. Everything, this car was 100% stock when I first got it. And it is automatic, just like the other one was. Because like I said, I originally was looking for a car that my wife can actually drive, because this is going to be her car eventually. I do plan on getting a GTR in the future, a couple years, and it really depends on how this whole coronavirus goes, because this is a major setback right now. A couple years we're going to go to Tokyo, probably going to have one imported or something of that nature. But anyway, this is going to end up being her car, is one of the main reasons why I wanted to get an automatic. And it makes a great daily driver if I do decide to ever daily it. So it's a very reliable car, very fun to drive, makes all the beautiful turbo noises. A lot of people still, I mean, every car enthusiast will appreciate what it is, even though it's a GTST and not a GTR. It is still a right-hand drive Skyline. It still gets lots of attention. I did take the badges off the back. I'm gonna put new ones here. I think I want to put the metal Nissan badge here. And I do need to get another GTST emblem here. I'd like to get the metal one to match the metal Nissan one, but because the stickers kind of degrade over time, and that looks like crap to me. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but you can still see the outline where the paint is a lot newer and nicer underneath the sticker. So other than that, guys, we're gonna go ahead, take a ride in the car, and we'll talk about the pros and cons. Go ahead and get in and grab the rest of my camera equipment. Let's see, I get the GoPro mount. I'll get my head strap in case I decide to use it. I would grab a drink for the road, but she has no cup holders. Those are the DEFI gauges that I was telling you guys about a little while ago. Now my only concern with this, let me go ahead and turn the AC on because that still works great. So one of my other concerns with this was the oil pressure. Right now it looks really good. After it gets hot and warmed up at idle, with an automatic, because obviously we all know the automatics, when you get your foot on the brake and you're at a stop, the car kind of puts a little bit of strain on itself because it is trying to still push forward, even though your foot's on the brake, being automatic. It comes down to here, which is about just under a bar of oil pressure, which for a GTST, I'm not sure if that's normal or not. You know, I haven't had any issues. I haven't had any weird sounds. But it does, you know, as soon as I give it any throttle, it shoots right up. So I don't think there's really anything wrong with the oil pump. I just make sure I got these, keep an eye on it, because you all know that these gauges here don't do that good of a job at keeping track of the oil pressure. So, and the factory sending unit and all that other stuff. But anyway, this is the interior. You know, one of the things about this Skyline is the famous bubble that's always here. It's not here in the car, so it's not present in here. You know, it's got a very clean interior. The seats have no tears, barely looks like they've ever been sat in. And you know, the driver's side seat is identical. The steering wheel has a few, you know, small scuffs like right here, things like that. All in all though, usually it looks like something is gnawed on these seats when they come in from Japan. Or not the seats, but the steering wheels when they come in from Japan. I'm gonna put this window down so that way I get a little more light in here. Everything works. The folding mirrors, everything works on the car on both sides, which is kind of uncommon. You know, this car, technically, I mean, this car really seems like it's a brand new car. You know, I don't there's nothing wrong with it at all. The back is kind of the same. No wear on the back seats at all whatsoever. The only other thing I do need to fix is this right here, where the leather has separated from the panel itself. So I do need to replace that panel, or I'll probably get my interior guy to actually, I know a really good interior guy that actually can fix that. So I'll probably get that fixed. The headliner is in great shape. The car's never been smoked in. Yeah, like I said, it is an automatic. It does not have cup holders. You know, but everything works. I mean, everything is clean and fresh, and you know, as far as the interior goes, I couldn't have asked for a better interior. So I love that it's got the tilt steering and telescopic steering. But you know, for its age, this car was pretty well developed. You know, I know in America these automatic climate controls didn't start coming in until the mid 90s, and you had to get like a really, or if you did have an early 90s car with it, it was either a Japanese car or it end up being like a really high premium kind of car, like, you know, a Lexus or a Mercedes or a BMW. You know, because these just, you know, everything had sliders back then. So rear defrost, fog lights still work, rear defrost still works, everything. So cool little feature on this thing is too, it's got a power button and a hold button on these automatics, and of course you got the overdrive here. But this power button, you click that button there, and that little light pops up right here. That actually changes. It's kind of like a sport mode where it actually changes the shifting of where the transmission shifts and the shift points. So it extends the gears out a little bit higher, and when you put your foot into the throttle, you know, when you're kind of cruising, it literally will shift it down a little bit sooner than it normally would. But all right, let me go ahead and put my seatbelt on. All right, so we're in the car. I got the windows up right now. Sorry if it's dark in here right now. Like I said, I do have 20% tint on the windows all the way around. I'm just kind of cruising right now. I was going to go a certain direction, but they've got the road blocked off because I think they're doing road work. But all right, so pros and cons. Let's go over the cons first, because I don't want to leave on a bad, you know, a bad note. Cons. One of the things my wife actually has a huge thing for, as far as actually when she owns a car, is cup holders. The car has zero cup holders in this thing. Like I said, it's got this little pocket here, but it does not hold a cup at all. Yeah, you could set something there temporarily, but as long as you're not moving or going over any bumps or going around curves, it's fine, it's great, whatever. Second thing is, I do wish it was a stick shift. You know, when I bought the car, like I said, the main goal was for my wife to have a car that she could drive. She can't drive a stick shift. She's tried learning, I've tried teaching her. It doesn't work out very well. So essentially what I've done, I've got her an automatic. Again, I do plan on getting a GTR in the future. So I'm essentially using this car as a prototype / test bed for parts or things that I would want to use in my GTR, essentially. So the HKS exhaust, the Apexi intake, Fortune Auto coilovers. This car is getting all the things that I will end up planning on getting for my GTR. You know, so that way I can kind of test certain parts out on this car. That way when I do go to get my GTR, I essentially can kind of like go through and see what parts I like, see what parts I don't like, see what parts perform really well. Like, GTR is definitely getting Fortune Auto coilovers on it. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
besides this bumpy ass road, they handle really well. This road is actually that I live right off of is being redone completely, and it's been like this for about a year now, to where they're essentially widening the road, and it's taking them freaking forever to do it. So I mean, there's hills and bumps and all kinds of crap. So anyway, I'm basically using this car as a test bed for any parts that I may use on my GTR when I do get it. The HKS exhaust, I'm still kind of, I don't think I'm going to use that on the GTR. I feel like I'd probably go like Tomei or something like that, something with a little bit more loudness to it. The wife doesn't like loudness on a car, so this is like perfect for her. It still looks good, it sounds, gives the car a little bit deeper tone, you know, so on and so forth. So I'll probably keep the HKS exhaust on this car, and then like I said, I'll get like a Tomei or something like that for the GTR when I do get it. One thing I probably will do on the GTR versus this car does have the Apexi cold air filter and stuff like that. I'll probably do the HKS, like the little foam pods or whatever they have for the filters. I'll probably do that for that car, just because it's a little bit, I feel like it's a little bit, I don't know, I like HKS a lot, and they make really good quality parts. It's a real shame that this exhaust is not louder, because I mean, I always wanted this exhaust, even though when I had a DA Integra, which is a 91 Integra. You know, a friend of mine that I knew at the time had a beautiful gold Acura Integra that had yeah, the HKS high power exhaust on it, and it sounded really good. But again, this car, it's got a turbo on it, and so that automatically muffles things, you know, right off the bat anyway. So, and the mid muffler on this car is pretty restrictive from what I can hear, because I don't know what else could be restricting it. It's got no catalytic converter on the car, so but like, you know, everything that is done to this car, I mean, it makes, like, I can put it right now, I've got it in the normal shifting mode, power mode off, and it drives like a normal subdued daily driver. It's a great automatic car if you're looking for a daily driver. If you got a GTR, if you got any other performance car, if you want to have a car that's a cool daily, that's really badass, and you can make look badass and sound badass, an automatic GTST is the way to go, because it's still fun to drive. You still got all the turbo noises. It's still quick. In fact, sometimes it may even feel a little bit quicker than a stick shift version of this car, just because it stays in boost and you're constantly pulling. There's no shifting and none of that stuff. So, and the Golden, one of the best things that I love about this car, and I'm actually getting to use it now, the AC works. And when I say it works amazing. Literally takes no time for this thing to cool off. I don't know if it's done the conversion from the R134A to the, I mean, from the R12 to the 134A. I haven't looked on the AC unit to see if there's a sticker or anything, and I can't remember the dates that they changed that over. The year range, rather. But one thing I do notice with the HKS exhaust, like I did with the review, when I did the exhaust, there's a little bit of a drone, and that's mainly coming from the mid muffler. Like, if it didn't have this mid muffler in, it'd be a lot louder and it'd be a lot less drone, but it wouldn't be as deep. So, like I said, right now I am cruising. Makes a great daily. Makes a great just a driver's car. I do wish I had a stick shift, just because it would help me get used to driving a stick shift on the right hand side of the car. But I guess getting if you've never driven on the right hand side of the car or whatever, I guess it's a really good car to get into, to kind of get you used to it. It doesn't take long to get used to it. I still find myself drifting every once in a while, but it's really not that horrible. I'm just going to kind of go down some side roads. they don't have everything blocked off. There's a lot of traffic out here for everybody being on confinement, but I guess people are out. I guess people are out just driving around, cruising around to get out of the house. I mean, I don't blame them. That's what I'm doing. So that was in normal mode. I mean, like I said, the car, even with the AC on, has really good, get up and go and good power. I think these cars came with like 220 horsepower stock, which isn't horrible. The GTRs came with 275, which was a gentleman's agreement. We all know this. But the GTST is a lot lighter because it doesn't have the drivetrain, like it doesn't have the all-wheel drive system in it, which is extremely, extremely heavy compared to just the rear-wheel drive system that's in this car. I know the GTS4 that I was looking at, a lot of people think that those cars are faster and better because they do have the all-wheel drive system. But the problem is, you're getting the all-wheel drive system that the GTR has, but you're getting the weight without getting the horsepower. So the GTS4 actually has the same exact horsepower that this car has, the GTST, but it's a lot heavier. It's like 300 or 400 pounds heavier. It's like, I think it's right around actually 400 pounds. I'm not sure. But the fact is that, sorry, that was a cop back there. I kind of got distracted. Essentially, so yes, you're getting the all-wheel drive system, but you're sacrificing a little bit of power because your car is going to feel a little bit slower than the GTST because it is heavier and it has the exact same amount of horsepower, stock for stock. Now, if you plan on building a GTS4 and building the motor and all this other stuff without getting the GTR, essentially that would be the better direction to go in if that's what you want as an all-wheel drive vehicle. Because you can build, GTS4. You can put a RB26 or RB30, or even build up the RB20 DET in the car. I think RB20 DETs are good for 400 horsepower maximum, and that's basically building the crap out of it. But that's not bad. That's a 200 horsepower gain. I mean, that's pistons, rings, head, turbo, all that stuff. So I mean, you really got to go and spend a lot of money on an RB20 to make it fast. Or, Jesus, this is where it's bumpy. Or you can do, like I say, an RB25 swap, which actually is a very, very common swap for these cars, for anybody that actually wants to do a swap from the engine anyway, because the RB26s are still really, really expensive. You could probably find an RB30 for a little bit cheaper, just because they come in they don't come in Skylines, obviously. They come in something different. So you can take essentially an RB30 block and put, like, say, a RB25 head or RB26 head on that for the twin cam, and you can make really good horsepower with it. That's a lot of what the Aussie guys do in Australia, is they do those like Frankenstein, engines where they build like an RB30 and then use like an RB26 cylinder head, and make all kinds of freaking horsepower with it. And it'd probably be a little bit cheaper to do it that way than it would be to build to buy an RB26 right off the bat and build that. And they're probably a little bit more accessible. So, whew, that's close. Now, worst case scenario is I not get my GTR. I will end up getting a GTST of sorts, a stick shift version. So either way, I will be getting another Skyline. This is going to be the wife's car. I'm not swapping this over to stick shift. I'm not swapping the motor. I'm not doing a bunch of performance upgrades to it. I'm doing a few things, like I said, to use as a test bed for what I do get eventually. But as as far as like suspension goes and some things go. But I'm essentially just maintaining this car, freshening it up, doing the timing belt, water pump, things like that, valve cover gasket. May end up having to do an oil pump. I don't know yet. We'll see. Like I said, oil pressure is, you know, fine right now. I'm cruising at like 30 miles or 45 miles an hour, or 40 miles an hour, just barely below 2,000 RPM, and it's a 3-bar. As long as you got 10 pounds of pressure per RPM, per 1,000 RPM, that's plenty. A lot of guys that are building actual race engines, and I know the RB26s, the GTRs, they have a different oil pump in them, so the oil pump, the oil pressure is higher naturally because it's more of a performance engine than this is. This is still a performance engine. It's still the RB20 DET, which is the turbocharged version of this motor, but it's nowhere near as performance driven as the RB26. Hence the reason why they put an RB26 instead of an RB20 in the GTR. So naturally it's going to have more, you know, more oil pressure. But as far as the pros of this car, now the cons, I really don't have much to bitch about. Besides the fact that it's not as fun as a stick shift car, it's still fun, but it's not a stick shift car. And I'm a gear rower. I mean, I love shifting gears. I love racing, things like that. I'm just a stick shift kind of guy. 90% of my cars have been stick shift. For my performance cars, that is. So that's what I'm used to. That's what I love. But as a driver, I mean, this thing's relaxing. It's reliable. I mean, it literally is just a nice driver. It's comfortable. The seats are really nice and they're snug, but yet they're not like, you know, holding you to the point to where they're uncomfortable at all. I mean, it's just a nice daily car. I mean, and she goes. And you, of course, you get the sound of the RB motor. I mean, that's always a plus. And when we do turn the power switch on, it changes gears to where it's in a different gear range. If I didn't have a car in front of me right now, it'd show you. But it's so much easier to get into it and have fun with it when it's in the power mode. But since I'm not doing anything crazy right now, go ahead and turn it off, because that's what I cruise with. There's no point in having it on if you're not spiritedly driving it. And right now, I'm just kind of riding. The Integra over there? Sorry, I get distracted. I love all kinds of cars. I'm a true car enthusiast. You know, I don't have any, you know, any favorite. Of course, I've got favorites. You know, Mustangs, Skylines. Those are my favorites. But I love all cars. If it's done upright and it's cool, I mean, I appreciate it for what it is. I mean, I've had Focus ST. I've had BMW, the E39 540i Sport. I had a 76 Corvette, Stingray. I had Hondas. You know, I had my DA Integra, the 91 Acura Integra, the LS VTEC build. Had a V18 A block with a V16 cylinder head, V16 VTEC dual red cam cylinder head on it. You know, I've had a wide assortment of cars. I want to say about 75 or 70% of them were Mustangs, but it, you know, I mean, this thing sounds amazing. I don't know if you guys can actually hear it or not, but oof, that was a big bump. But I love the way this thing drives. My overall review is, if you guys are looking for a Skyline and you don't have GTR money, find yourself a nice, and don't get a bucket. Don't get something that's garbage. Don't get something that's been, you know, chewed on and spit out and just like, you know, somebody has molested the crap out of it and modified the crap out of it. Get something nice. Get something stock, something that has not been molested, and enjoy it. Like, build the crap out of it.
All right, so there she is, guys. My 1992 R32 Skyline. Like I said, if you guys are looking for a Skyline and you don't have GTR money, or if you don't want to spend that much money on a GTR, find a GTS-T, find a GTS-4. They're great cars, they're fun to drive. I mean, I have an absolute blast, even though it's an automatic in the car. Don't be afraid of buying something that's not a GTR. You know, there are some GTR snobs out there that are like, oh, if it's not a GTR, then it's not a Skyline, or it's not a Godzilla, or whatever. Nobody cares. The fact is, if you're a car enthusiast, you're gonna love it for what it is. A Skyline is a Skyline. It's a very special car, regardless of whether it's a GTR or a GTS-T or any of that stuff. So don't let anybody discourage you from getting a car like this that is bone-ass stock, that is a not a GTR, that you can actually do things to these cars and have, you know, something extremely cool that you can work on as a project and do plenty of things to and make it just as cool as a GTR. I mean, that's like, you know, everybody modifies Mustang GTs. It's not a Cobra, it's not a Shelby. I've owned one, and to be quite honest, I prefer owning something like this because I want to modify the crap out of it. Shelby's a special car. I only want to modify that to a certain point, and honestly, I feel like I would be that way with the GTR. But the GTR, dead honest, I would still, that's a bug. Dead honest, the GTR I would still modify the crap out of. And then one day, like I said, I will have a GTR in this very garage and this Skyline GTS-T, and they are both going to be sitting side by side, his and her Skylines, right there. Mustang more than likely will still probably be sitting right here. I hope, maybe not, I don't know. Again, I don't know the future for this car. I plan on keeping it for now, obviously. It makes a good daily, supercharged, it's fast, it's fun, it looks great. Got a heck of a lot of pollen on it right now, man. This thing is filthy. Holy shit. Yeah, filthy. But Mustang looks cool. Skyline looks cool. I'm happy with it. I don't regret the purchase whatsoever. I think this is really awesome, actually. This is a, I believe that's a Japanese inspection sticker or registration sticker of sorts. If any of you guys know what that is, for sure in the comments, please drop a comment down below. Let me know what that is. But it looks really cool. I'm assuming it's a actual registration sticker. And it's also got the 32 right there, which is awesome too. But all right, guys, that's gonna do it for this vlog. I just wanted to do a quick review on my Skyline GTS-T. Go get one. They're fun, they're quick. I got no complaints. So, like, subscribe, hit the bell. I'm gonna have a lot of things coming for this car too. Like I said, with the whole economy the way it is right now, it's basically no economy. It is putting a hold per se on a lot of my plans. Like I said, if you guys watched my last video, I did get furloughed, so that is definitely putting a hold on a lot of things right now, especially car related. So, but we'll bounce back. Everyone will bounce back. All right, like, subscribe, hit the bell. We will see you on the next one. Later.
Change me, nobody ever gonna phase me. No fake accounts like KD, doing the shit that I want to. Nobody I'll ever run to. Dressed like a motherfucking god when I reach the spot.